Hello, 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 test, 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 hello, hello. Hello. Okay, let me test. Oh shit, I haven't plugged the shit in. Hello, test, test, test. Okay, oops. Now I think it's working. I think OBS should have a feature where you plug it in like this, small here, and it remains small over there or something. Maybe I should just get more monitors or whatever. Yo, how's it going? The problem with this, I've opened the chat on my phone. The problem is that now I have to tap the phone screen every once in a while to have it open. How's it going? Let's see. This browser window is the one. How are you doing? Do you have also free today? I'm streaming on Monday because it's a fire tag. I don't exactly know how it's called. It's called something like Pfingsten or something, right? Pfingsten. Here it's Pfingsten for some reason. Pfingstmontag or something like that. Pfingstmontag. Pretty good. Don't really feel like going to uni tomorrow, but gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I have tomorrow. I also have to go to class, but tomorrow we have simulator day. We are simulating some simulating some train. We are doing like some rangiren or something like this, like doing maneuvers with the train, and then we are like driving a little bit of the train, simulated also. Pfingsten. Oops, no. Okay. So today, oops, not this, but this. Maybe something like this. This is a bit redundant. So I think I'm going to put chat here. But the P is not pronounced that hard, it's almost silent. Pfingsten. Pfeffer. Pfingsten. Okay, so, oops, no, not again. For today, I had 2 topics. Aside from doing a week review, I'm not sure if I'm going to start with. Yeah, now that you said it, it's the same as pfeffer. Yeah. The problem is that I don't know how to pronounce that word, but yeah. Well, I think I can block my phone since I see it on here. But I just had 2 topics that I wanted to discuss. and the usual weekly stream, just kind of talking a little bit about my week, how my week went, and so I don't know. I'm not writing anything, right? I am not writing on my notes or on my diary or whatever, so I don't really feel like I have anything to say either, right? The problem is that it's like a bit of a of a vicious circle, right? When I write more, or not vicious in this case, but like, how would you say? Virtuous, right? It's a bit of a virtuous cycle. When you write more, it's like you feel you have more things to say. At least that's what happens to me. Right? When I write more, I feel like I have more things to say, and when I write less, I feel like I have less things to say. So yeah. So since I'm not writing in that many things, I don't feel like I have many things to say. Maybe I should force myself to write, or like do a little bit of writing every day, a little bit, and then quickly look at it before stream or something, so that I have more topics. My tweets, I guess, are my ways of saying things, so that is why I'm commenting on tweets. But yeah, this week, what did it do? What happened today, this week? I have here my schedule. It's not up to date perfectly, but Monday we had some excursion, a small Ausflug at some place called München Nord. I think it was like a Goethe-Bahnhof photos. And yeah, we basically just were there, like, kinda watching the trains go by, and like we waited for a while until one of those trains that is like a Güterwagen. We waited a little bit until one of those was there. I took some pictures. It was like in this area. Let's see. This is not. Yeah, this is basically the area where it was. It was like München. I guess you can look up the street if you want. Ludwigsfelder Straße 60. It's in Munich. It's a region called Allach. It's like in S-Bahn, a couple of stations from the west side of the Stammstrecke. So it's like, yeah, a little bit outside. I'm not sure if it's actually Munich, as in the town hall of Munich or whatever the fuck, but it is. Yeah, there are like some companies or whatever. For example, Siemens. I think this Siemens is like Siemens Rail, not just like the electronics part. It's Siemens Rail and all of that. MTU Aero Engines. Yeah, it's like, I think it used to be like whatever, right? I don't know. I'm not sure about the history, but it is Allach. It's actually a place where there's a lot of history of these German companies, right? BMW also used to have a plant in Allach and all this, right? And in the period of the Nazis, right? It's like every company or whatever used to be producing shit over there or something like that. I don't know. It's like the history is the same in every company, in every German company, or at least in the car companies that I've been to, right? Every car company that I've been to the museum is something like this, right? History, blah 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 blah. Nazis, okay, we did produce something for the Nazis, blah blah blah. Then Germany separates and they talk about some things like this. Right? Same with the Deutsche Bahn Museum, right? In the Deutsche Bahn Museum, it's like it's the same. In the Deutsche Bahn, it's actually like way more emphasized the separation of East and West, because it used to be like this huge company or whatever, right? And then it got separated between like the Reichsbahn and the Bundesbahn or whatever. And in BMW, it was just like BMW down in Baviera or Bavaria. But yeah, there were some of these. We saw some trains like going down of some mountain. Let's see if I can find some pictures. Well, let me, in case there are a lot of blurry pictures because I was taking them kind of like without the teacher letting me see. I think it's no problem, but I don't know. I prefer to have plausible deniability English, so someone ever finds something like this.
lo puedes hacer, yo creo. Álvaro lo está haciendo de forma abierta.
Okay, yeah, this is... They are the little... The little... Yeah. Gutewagen. I don't know, for example, I don't know how do you call these things. Wait, I googled Siemens KNDS thing, and KNDS is apparently a company producing stuff like tanks, lol. Yeah, actually, a classmate told me something like that there. Yeah, he told me something like, yeah, here they're producing like a lot of... Also, Rheinmetall, right? Apparently, Rheinmetall Munich is in that area. And Rheinmetall is also this company that produces like either weapons or like weapon systems or something like this, right? But yeah, I thought it was Siemens Rail. Let's see. Let me Google that myself also. Siemens Allach. Lokomotivenwerk. Okay, that part was real at least. And the street is called Krauss-Maffei-Straße. And Krauss-Maffei, it's like this company that used to make these kind of old, how do you call them? Dampflokomotiven, right? Damp? No. Vapor? In Spanish we say vapor. Boiling water locomotive? Train. Bro, I forgot. Let me Google it. Vapor locomotive. Steam, bro. Steam locomotive. KNDS. Wait, I think... look. KNDS unites Krauss, Maffei, Beckmann, and Nexter, leading European military land system manufacturers. Okay, interesting. So I guess Krauss, Maffei then became a weapons company or something. Krauss, Maffei, Beckmann. Krauss, Maffei Group spun off and merged with Beckmann Co. Bro, whenever I see these things, I'm always like, bro, I'm so poor. It's like this motherfucker, what name is listed here? Manfred Bode. This motherfucker is making so much money, probably. I don't know, but I probably wouldn't like to be this guy, right? This guy is just some guy in some company or whatever. Krauss Maffei. It was acquired by Chem China. During World War II, see, this is always the same story. Krauss Maffei used thousands of prisoners of war, blah, 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 blah. I mean, at least, like, it's interesting that they say it, right? It's funny that they have it at the museum and they are like, yeah, we did that. But it's like, I don't know. I always think about that, right? That does make me think. And this is actually something that it is related to something I've done this week, because this week I've gone to both Saturday, okay, 2 days ago to the BMW Museum, and then the next day to the Deutsche Bahn Museum again. Well, in both cases, again. But yeah. But it does make me think, right? It makes me think it's probably for the best, right? That the companies exist, right? That BMW keeps making cars and that Deutsche Bahn keeps like operating rail or something, right? So it's like in the museum, they probably should have like this. We did do a little bit of a foreign workers type thing, but I mean, what do you want us to do about it, right? They are like, yeah, we support, we don't hide it anymore because they used to hide it. And like the Japanese do, I think probably Japanese people don't actually like still hide it or whatever. So they don't hide it, which is nice. And they are like, yeah, we support the victims. We give like, we cut a couple of checks and that. And it's like, okay, sure. But sometimes I wonder, oh, would it be better if it's like, I don't know, for example, they get acquired by the state and they get sold back to something, right? Like they get sold back in pieces to everyone or some shit like that. I wonder if something like something that someone who has thought about this more than I do, right? For example, in Nuremberg, I guess in Nuremberg, in those days where they were like judging the people, right? They were doing like the trials, and they were saying, okay, you die, you don't die, or you go to prison forever, or something like that, right? It's like maybe they should have done something like that there, right? So they should have been like, okay, BMW, you get sold somewhere. You get sold by those. No, I don't know, maybe it would have been worse, right? Maybe it would have been like, okay, you get sold to our friends in the United States or some shit. I had to read about it in school, which was boring as fuck. But apart from that, it's good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's good as well. I think it's good, but also I think it's good that you do the thing from history, but it does make me ask those questions, right? It's like, It's like, what are the alternative paths? It's like, I guess, the German government in those times, after war, the post-war, I don't know German history, right? So I don't know what actually happened. This guy Adenauer is the famous one, right? Adenauer is like the guy Adenauer who came right after, right? First Chancellor of West Germany. Yeah, 49. So I guess he was the first democratic guy in like the modern Germany or some shit like that, right? Bereits im Kaiserreich und in der Weimarer Republik absolvierte blah blah blah. Let's change to English. 46 to 66, Christian Democratic Union. First Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany. It's like these guys, right? They probably weren't like, okay, we should take the companies, right? They were probably like, okay, the companies should remain or some shit like this, right? It's like in the other side of the country, right? In the eastern side, they probably were like, okay, we take them back or some shit, right? And then it was worse, arguably, right? So maybe it's better that they didn't take them and were like, okay, you get to keep them, sure. And I guess they were hiding it. They were like, okay, but be a little bit quiet about it. And then like 30 years later, they were like, okay, let's look it up. Let's look up what happened. Rhenish Prussia, Prussia, Rhineland. I also don't know what Frankish means. For example, Nuremberg, everywhere, apparently they consider themselves Frankish or whatever the fuck that means. Nuremberg. Wait, the Nuremberg trials, where were they made? Nuremberg trials. I want to know the building. Palace of Justice. I guess I should do some kind of free tour of Nuremberg of like how it was after the war or some shit like that. Because to be honest, I don't really know. I've been to Nuremberg 3 times already, but I've always gone to the same places, to the same like touristy places or whatever, and I've actually never done like one of those tours or whatever. Okay, Nuremberg. What did I want to look up in Nuremberg? Yes, Franconian. Fränkisch. Oh, okay, so they are kind of Bavarian, but it's like a different thing also. Fränkisch. Franconian. I don't know what Frankish could mean. Maybe that they consider themselves a bit French. Google said it's a dialect, apparently. Maybe that's it. Yeah, I think it's just like a dialect or something, right? Or, well, more than a dialect, a little bit, right? It's like a historical region. This thing would probably say historical region or some shit. Yeah, they have these fucking... Nuremberg has the colors of the flag are all like this, red and white. Germanic people known as the Franks. François. Rothenburg. Ob der Taube. Yo, that's crazy. What the fuck is this? Tüchersfeld. Franconian, Switzerland. Why is it called Franconian, Switzerland? If it's in Germany. Bro, I don't get these names. Holstein, Switzerland. Oh, okay. Was given its name by romantic artist who compared the landscape to Switzerland. Okay, vale. If you say so. Okay, so basically back to this. I saw some trains, as you can see. I showed the thing. I ate some things. Let's see. This is... I tried this after class, which were some Malti, I think. Manti. They're called Manti. They are like Turkish dumplings. Not stellar, decent, but not stellar. The reviews are like much better than what I would give to something that expensive and that, I don't know, not super unique in my opinion. But I don't know, it was nice. It was something interesting. Something, I would say, not really something different, but I don't know, something at least a little bit different enough from other stuff, right? It's like more expensive than Döner, low-key worse, unless the Döner is bad. which can happen, right? So yeah, I don't know, not bad. I wouldn't touch that. Lol. Why? It's just dumplings. Dumplings with yogurt sauce and like this. It wasn't really spicy sauce, and the powder I put afterwards. Then this is the next day. The next day I had some spaghetti. I made this myself with some peas. Some did it have some meat? I think some leftover tuna and some leftover lettuce. And to be honest, these were really good. Like not super like they were from what I was expecting so much better. I think it looks disgusting, to be honest. I also don't like half of it. It was pretty, to be honest, it was pretty nondescript. And I think my picture looks worse than what they actually look like. Okay, let's see. I think this picture captures the texture better a little bit. This. They are like dumplings, right? It's like gyoza or like Chinese dim sum, but smaller and a little bit tougher. So basically worse than gyoza. The feeling is a little bit different. So that is not worse, not better, simply different. The sauces are interesting. I still wouldn't touch it at all. Have you tried gyoza or like Chinese, these kind of Chinese dumplings? I forgot how they are called in Chinese. The only word that comes to mind is gyoza. Chinese dumplings, right? Chinese dumplings. Chaochi, yaochi. Okay, I think I've never actually. Maybe try one, since I've never had dumplings or anything similar, but it looks like I wouldn't like it. To be honest, they're not like anything that special, but they are across many cultures, right? So it's like no, it's like no wonder they exist, right? It's like just something wrapped. It's like a little bit of meat or whatever, seasoned and wrapped in like something, in like a kind of a pasta, right? It's basically like ravioli, right? But a little bit different. But yeah, these ones I made them myself, asking ChatGPT a little bit, garlic, olive oil, if I recall correctly, and then tuna, leftover tuna, leftover. I wanted to use the leftover tuna and the leftover these leaves, lettuce. And since you can see they were getting brown, right? I wasn't like they are probably a little bit too bitter for salad, so I'm going to use them in something hot instead. I asked ChatGPT what I could use. The peas were a good idea. I think the color looks in the picture is shit because my camera from my phone is shit and that. So yeah. But the garlic, the lemon, the oil, the thing, the creaminess from the pasta water a little bit. It was not. It doesn't look super creamy, and to be honest, it wasn't like mega creamy, but it was like it did have like a little bit of a sauce with the garlic and the thing, so the spaghetti weren't like flavorless, and yeah, the lettuce gave it some crunch. I think I was like pretty satisfied with this dish, even though it probably looks kind of like not that good on the picture. But yeah, I was kind of satisfied. I heard of chocolate dumplings and I love to try those. That sounds good. I don't know about others. Chocolate dumplings. I've actually never heard of that. Chocolate dumplings. Okay, that does look pretty good. Then the next day I just went a little bit for a walk with a friend. It was interesting, right? We went. This guy has this costume of sending audios, right? WhatsApp audios. So I don't listen to them. I just play the transcript button. And the transcription was bad. So I misunderstood. I thought we were just going for a walk or something, and he wanted to take money out and go for a walk, like for some reason. Yeah. He was like, "Do you want to come?" or whatever. And I was like, "Sure." But I hadn't heard he wanted to get money out. So when he went to look for this ATM, I was like, "What? Why am I going with you just to go get money for my ATM?" So I felt a bit betrayed. It was my mistake in a sense, because I didn't want to listen to the audio that he sent, which, even though it's my mistake, it doesn't feel like my mistake, because I don't like, why should I listen to audios? But yeah, in the end, it was my fault, I guess. But yeah, that was what I did. We did work a little bit. We tried to get money out from this ATM, but it turned out the ATM is like in some military area, because there is like a university for the military here. So yeah, we couldn't go in, we couldn't get the money. Then the next day, I got Duna with classmates. Good, didn't take a picture. And that day I had this for dinner. Just an egg, boiled egg, one whole boiled egg. I had chocolate and a yogurt, because I didn't have a lot of hunger. I wasn't super hungry. Then the next day I went to the BMW museum. You get the gist. And yeah, I thought of those things I was mentioning. This car was interesting. This is a car I hadn't noticed before. A BMW with suicide doors. I was thinking, dinner was your dinner. No, that was lunch. Sorry, I'm not sure if I said it correctly. Oh. It was like a late lunch, to be honest. It was like after class. But class, we did get from class out a little bit earlier. But yeah, so it wasn't, in the end, it wasn't that late of a lunch. It was like more or less at maybe 2, 3. I don't know. I don't recall correctly. More like 3, I think. 2:30, perhaps. Okay, my browser seems to have crashed. Okay, back. But yeah, we saw some cars. It's always cool to see them. Some interesting models I hadn't noticed before. I tried to make some pictures in this style. With the 0.5x camera, it makes the cars look pretty funny. This car was also special. It was like an 850 convertible. This is like an only prototype type shit. So yeah, there were like some special units. Browser crashed again. For example, there was like a part about Italian design. This was like one of those Italian cars. This was one of these called the Glaserati, if I recall correctly. This is made by an Italian designer. And it does look a lot like these old 60s Italian cars, but it's by BMW. yeah, essentially there were some interesting cars. And we had, after that, we had banh mi for lunch. Well, sure, let's show the Nazca. The Nazca is pretty cool. Also, some of these, like this, is a pretty rare car. 3200 Vignale, very Italian. The G4 by Zagato, also really funny. Really interesting, sorry. This one by Pininfarina, very... This one reminded me of an Aston Martin or something. But yeah. Bro. Okay. We had this, banh mi. It's a Vietnamese sandwich. I ordered the the duck banh mi. Decent. I think I'm going to order the chicken one next time. And for dinner I had turkey burritos. With a little bit of guacamole, yeah, guac. And some tortillas. These were oven baked, not like fried, apparently, according to the bag. This. I didn't see any duck. This brown thing is duck. And it was also like here below, right? Yeah, there was there. It wasn't like a lot of it, but it wasn't also too few of it. It was like acceptable, maybe a little bit less than it would have been like awesome, but enough. €8.5. Then next day, train museum. This was funny. Deutsche Bahn Museum. Verspätungsschall 2018. Die Pünktlichkeit der Bahn steht heute für viele Reisende im Fokus. So erregt der Verspätungsschall 2018 große mediale Aufmerksamkeit. Eine Pendlerin im Münchner Umland strickt die Zugverspätungen in einen Schal ein. Pro Tag 2 Reihen. Grau bei unter 5 Minuten, rosa bei 5 bis 30 Minuten Verspätung, rot bei Verspätung auf beiden Fahrten oder einmal über 30 Minuten. Das Verschlüsseln von Informationen über die Bahn in einem Strickmuster wird schon früher angewandt. Im Ersten Weltkrieg stricken Frauen im Auftrag des britischen Geheimdienstes. Sie notieren Informationen über deutsche Truppenbewegungen an Bahnhöfen nach einem festgelegten Code in einem Strickmuster. And they have it at the Deutsche Bahn Museum, pretty funny. And if you look up the girl like this Claudia Weber, or you look up Verspätungsschall, you can see it. You can see the tweets and all this. Well, the tweets are already private or whatever, but you can see kind of the articles about it and all this. Sorry. And yeah, Nuremberg. This is the TT fountain. And yeah, we went there with how do you say, one of like our human resources I guess you could say she's like the one who handles all of our administrative shit. And her kid, we were together with them and two classmates. This you could say workmate or whatever, and it was interesting. The kid is fun, right? It's fun we played these cards, these top ass cards. I'm not sure if you've ever played something like this. They have like 6 categories or whatever. What the fuck is the DT Fountain? Lol, never knew. Yeah, same. I've been to Nuremberg a couple of times, but I forgot about this, I guess. It's just this fountain and the water comes out of the tits, basically. It was, in my mind, autocompletes to our teacher said, she's not our teacher, she's like our admin. Yeah. But yeah, basically she pointed it out. She was like, yeah, that's interesting. It's like this, she said something like German humor or something. I could try to see the details. Let's see. St. Lawrence. Let's see. How do you say Fuente? Brunnen. Brunnen. Tugendbrunnen. Yeah, here you can see it pretty well. You couldn't build that today. Literally. Cancel culture. Oh my god. Tugend means virtud, virtue. Siehe Liste von Brunnen in Nürnberg. Schöner Brunnen, Neptunbrunnen. Anyway, it's just like a random fountain. And yeah, I think, the U-Bahn for the first time in Nuremberg, but to be honest, it wasn't like the one that is special because it's driverless. In this case, because apparently there is one line that does have a driver in Nuremberg, in the U-Bahn. So, yeah. Sadly, not super special. But yeah, that was yesterday. And today, I only did laundry shit. Today, the dryer had this weird symbol, this ein inside of a triangle and a circle. And I googled and I didn't find anything. Perhaps I ask AI later, but I don't give a fuck, to be honest, because I already took the clothes. They were not as dry as I expected, but yeah. So I think I'm going to drink a little bit of water. I'm going to pee, and then I'm going to show these tweets. I'm going to maybe show the tweet here so that so that while I pee, these tweets can be read. Oops. But yeah, essentially, I'm going to have a little pee and have a little drink. Back. Oh, you reminded that I wanted to take a bath. Normally I shower, but I have the time. Interesting. Today I did nothing. I did some uni stuff on Saturday and finished it on Sunday. Today I'm going to do some, well, not uni, some train school stuff. Dishwasher finished. I don't have a bath. I don't miss it, to be honest, but I do miss the ability to kind of, not sure if ability, but for example, in a shower, it's not like you want to sit, right? The water is too far away above. You don't, there is not enough water that covers you, right? So you don't want to sit. I do miss sitting. I didn't used to do it in Spain either, right? I never used my bath to sit. But it was a bathtub. So the couple of times that I wanted to sit, it didn't feel that bad to sit on it. Yeah, I do like sitting. Like I would, that is the one thing I miss, right? I don't miss taking baths. For example, having so much water, waiting to fill it up, blah, blah, blah. But I would like to sit. I thought of buying a shower, a seat for the shower. But I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. When I went to IKEA, I forgot, I guess. I know, I thought of the idea after going to IKEA already. And I haven't gone since. How hot is it in Berlin next Saturday? Also hot as fuck, right? 27. But a bit less sunny, maybe, and a bit windier, maybe. Let's see Munich. Oh, here in Munich also 29. And a bit more humid, but yeah, less wind. I was like, I'm not going to have a bath, so might as well have a bath. Maybe I will go to a pool or something. Twenty is already quite warm, I am. Oh. To me, over 20, it depends, right? When it's cloudy, over 20 isn't warm. It's like 22, 23. I guess humidity it's noticeable, but it doesn't super bother me. But when it's 25 plus sunny, it is hot to be outside. And when it's 30 plus, to me that is properly hot. It's like if it's 27, 28, hot. If it's 30 plus, okay, this is fucking hot. But yeah, I was thinking, okay, maybe you made me jealous with the bath thing. Maybe I will bath, aka go swim somewhere this Saturday. It depends. But yeah, I was thinking, maybe I'll do that. But if it says that it might rain in the afternoon, then maybe I won't do it because the temperature is highest at 29 degrees 4 p.m. when it rains. I don't know. Or when it will be getting cloudier, right? I don't know. Maybe then I don't want to have a bath. Like, not a bath, like have a swim. We'll see. Okay. On to my, you could say, week review is over. Next part of the stream, aka mulling over some thoughts or what I've been thinking about lately, something like this. Let me. Can I do this? Okay, so I feel like the world okay. First thought. I tweeted something, so I'm going to tweet that, and then I'm going to, I guess, continue my explanation in less than a tweet length form. Okay, sorry for the burp. Wait, if I do this, do you hear something? It looked like there were some interference or something. But I don't know, it was also not too loud. Okay, anyways. Tweet. I feel like the world goes too slow. Like everything could go faster actually. And then I fail somehow. For example, my degree. 4 years. Could have and should have been done in like 2.5, 3 tops. And it took me 7. Bro, ridiculous. Or my current train driver thing. We're going so slow and there's so much slack. Feels like we could be going so much harder and like I could be so much more advanced and get this over with sooner. Yeah, I don't know. This is something I've been thinking, not sure if just this week or like over the past some weeks maybe. and I guess years if we count the degree time. But in my degree, caveat, right? Let me change the wording. For example, in my degree, day by day, it didn't actually feel like I had that much free time or whatever. Well, actually, yeah, it did, right? I've always felt like I do have a lot of free time. Just that I don't use my free time for, I guess, class-related stuff, right? I feel like if I had used my free time for class-related stuff, I could have been done so much easier. Like if I had more focus. In some senses, I blame myself, but in some other senses, I blame, I guess, the system or whatever, right? It's like, I feel like the degree that I did, the way it's structured is like so, I don't know, it's structured in such a weird way that in my opinion, I'm not sure if it makes sense. Plus it's like structured in an antiquated way or whatever. I'm not sure why it's structured the way it is, but it seems to be like the worst of every world, right? It's like you have too few classes in a day it's like it's impossible to study 8 hours a day, right? But it should be possible to do 8 hours a day of something that gets you focused there, right? And to have less shit to do. I don't know, for example, a subject have some like focused time of like lecturing and learning, and then some, I guess, more open time but still focused of like doing the exercises that require this thing and doing them in the same period of time, right? Maybe not the same day, but maybe the next day. And instead of like having so many different subjects like jumbled up together or whatever that you have to organize yourself around, having them like sequentially ordered so that they are more, I don't know, so that they make more sense. I don't know. I feel like, for example, if someone was like, okay, you must take your degree again in 2 years, how would you do it, right? I would have come up with such a different strategy than the one that already exists, right? Maybe if they tell me, okay, you must also do this for like 60 people per class for like 3 different classes, then I would be like, okay, this is difficult, but I don't know. I feel like we should start from the bottom up, right? From one person up. How could one person do it, right? And I feel like it would be so different. My uni that I could and should have finished in 3 years is also taking 6.5, and it will definitely go up to 7, if not more. Dumb. I definitely feel you, as you can see. Maybe you will go become a train driver in Spain after you're done. Nah, just kidding. Becoming a train driver in Spain is like such a pain in the ass, that you won't even think about it. But yeah, maybe you will be like, okay, I will drop shit and live in Valencia or live in Mallorca or some shit. Well, Mallorca no, because it's so expensive, and live in Spain. But yeah, that's what I think of my degree, right? I feel like I would have lost so much less time of my life, right? I would have wasted so, and also the times, like 3 of those years of my degree were just one subject, or like 2 subjects, like 3 subjects, then 2 subjects, then 1 subject, more or less, right? The 5th year, the 6th year, and the 7th year. 5th year I had, 5th year was basically like 4th year because I had so many subjects to repeat, maybe. So let's say like 4th or like half 4th. Then 6th year was like, no, 5th year was like, 6th year had like very few subjects, and then 7th year I had like 1 or 2 per semester. If anything, I try my luck with Japanese. Okay, that'd be interesting. Drive trains in Japan, the Shinkansen. I've thought of that actually. Like after I'm done, I would also like, after I'm done with German, quote unquote, again, never, but yeah, quote unquote, after I'm done with my mandatory time here in Germany, or like post-mandatory, right? The mandatory plus maybe like a couple of years more or whatever. Maybe Japan next. I don't know. It's like my missing. In Spain we say like una espina que tienes clavada. So like a thorn that you have, click stuck somewhere. It's I guess like my thorn, like the thorn that I have stuck somewhere that I would have to remove. So yeah, maybe Japan is that for me. I don't think so for other reasons, but maybe. But yeah, basically I feel like it could be compressed so much more, right? And like compressed, not just compressed for the sake of compressing and being done earlier, right? But compressed because if you do things more efficiently, you learn better, right? It's like shit could be focused better. And like things could be ordered in a way where it makes more sense. And not like cut away in different pieces for the sake of being cut away in different pieces, right? Or like the way things are structured could be different. It's like technically they tell you like, yeah, this subject is like X amount of credits, right? 9 credits or 6 credits. Most of our subjects were like 6 credits. They tell you, yeah, this subject is 6 ECTS. And you have X amounts of hours in class, and the other amount of missing hours, which is usually a lot, is like, okay, you're supposed to do this self-study in your house, right? It's like, bro, why the fuck am I going to university then, right? It's like, then I could just do it myself all alone, right? If that's supposed to be the vibe. It's like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it could be done better. I guess the people who do it better just do it by themselves better, right? It's like they study at home better, or they study at the library at school, or they make study groups or some shit like that. But I didn't do it, right? So I guess I would do it that way, either by myself or create it so that those things arise. I don't know. I feel like something like that, right? And then the next tweet, or my current train driving thing. We're going so slow and there's so much slack. Feels like we could be going so much harder, and like I could be so much more advanced and get this over with sooner. This is both true and false at the same time, right? I feel like there is like so much slack built into this system because we are foreigners, right? So they planned a lot of slack, and this is it's intentional that we have so much free time. Well, not free time, but like that the classes are like so slow. But I feel like for me personally, in this case, it's my thing. They should be much faster in order for me not to get super bored, right? Or like in order for me not to feel like we are doing the same thing endlessly and like the people don't understand anything, right? And the problem is that while people are doing things, right, like while people are repeating the same things, it's not. If I hear the same thing repeated over and over and pay attention and like manage to keep attention, then it's good, right? Because repetition is good. But if I lose my concentration, then it's worse, right? Because I could be doing that by myself. So that sucks. I feel like I could legit have joined the German speaking class and be better for it, right? I feel like I would have increased my German level more and would have done the knowledge acquisition of the things that we have to do at a faster rate, which would have been double win. So yeah, I'm kind of sad that I guess I didn't. I don't know. That I guess I hadn't thought of. Okay, I'll move to Germany and learn the language and then apply or to things there or some shit like that. I don't know. But yeah, I guess I'm frustrated a little bit because of this. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't study really. I learn a bit in class and later I learn for the tests, but other than that, I can't remember the class 1 weeks after the test. Lol. Yeah, I do cards. I use the Anki cards. So in that sense, well, now at least I kind of know how to study better. For example, in my degree, I never used Anki cards for anything. So I guess I could have used those better study methods before. I don't know. I guess I'm just simply frustrated. Yeah, a little bit frustrated, right? And feel a little bit powerless. Okay. So solutions, proposed solutions. I can't think of anything. Just shrug. And try to, I guess, do cards when if you're boarding class, do cards or whatever. You can't travel in time, so you can't study your degree faster. Shade. Or whatever. I don't know if Shade is actually a thing. By the way, they offered us some German course. They said, hey guys, you can join a German course. Some people are like really encouraged to join, the people who have failed, right? And basically everyone joined except me. I was like, yeah, I do tandem sometimes, which was a lie because I don't do tandem, but I was like, yeah, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, Hanyo is German. I kind of say some things in German. Hanyo did help me a little bit when we did like for my German tests in back then, right? So it kind of is actually, I do have my own methods, right, of learning German. So yeah, I didn't join their shitty German course. Yeah, because I was feeling like, if I already feel like this in class, right? I was like, imagine if I join to go after class to more of the same, right? It's like more of this slow ass level of German, or like the people who are like, because the problem with my class also is that the people who are better at German ask so many stupid questions, right? Not related to the level of German, right? Sometimes also related to the level of German, but sometimes just because they are stupid questions, right? So it's like frustrating that on the one hand there are people who literally don't understand the language well, so the same thing has to be said like 7 or 8 times with like minimally different wordings in order for people to understand a little bit. And if that wasn't enough, the people who do understand what is being said ask stupid questions, right? Questions that are like so, I don't know, so dumb, stupid, that is frustrating to hear, right? So I guess my answer to that is like, fuck it, let's join in, right? Let's ask stupid questions as well, right? Let's just ask questions. Whenever I have some stupid question, I'll pose it. Imagine if they suddenly come back speaking fluent German. I've thought about it, and to be honest, for example, I will say that there is one guy who did fail the German like the German language test in Spain. Like we did 2 tests. We did the B1 and the B2. The B2 was essentially fake as fuck, right? So we basically passed. But the B1 was a real German test, more or less, pretty real, except the speaking part, which was probably forged a little bit. It was more or less real. And 7 of us passed, one of them probably cheating, but yeah, essentially passed. But 2 of them failed and had to retake them. Well, actually 3 of them, but 1 of them didn't come with us to Germany. So 2 of them had to retake it here in Germany. And they did retake it. And one of those who did retake it in Germany, in my opinion, was like pretty clueless in German, right? It's like he didn't have any idea of the language. It's like he probably had, in my opinion, the worst level. But I think that for him, being here in Germany has actually helped him, right? And like, because he's like an open person or whatever, he's also gay, right? So he's open in a gay way, right? So I don't know. You get the vibe, right? It's like flowery, yeah, I don't know, like talkative. Imagine a Spanish person and then he's gay. Like that, right? So, yeah, I think, for example, he has learned a lot, even though it's like, for example, he also knows French, so he used to have this hilarious German accent that was like, I don't know, my accent is already bad, right? So I can't actually, if I can't try to read something well, I can't. For example, if I try to read here this, der Ziffertaster, wenn vorhanden auch der Zifferprüftaster ist im Stillstand zu drücken. Anschließend ist das Aufleuchten des Leuchtmelders, das Ertönen des Zoomers oder der Sprachausgabe. I try to read this and I know it's not perfect, but I think more or less the intonation, the pronunciation is not great, but I don't know, more or less, right, you can sense that there is some coherence. He would read it with kind of some mix of like, he would read something like, der Ziffertaster, wenn vorhanden auch der Zifferprüftaster ist im Stelltaster, right, like this, right? With this kind of weird intonation that is kind of like mixing French and like with this nasality in the ends or some shit, right? That comes a little bit from mixing French and German pronunciation, right? And it would be so funny to me, right? But he has kind of like, that is still noticeable when he reads something out loud or whatever. And when he writes the solutions for shit in class, it's also like clearly written by ChatGPT, right? But I don't know, I feel like he has actually managed to make himself understandable, right? And because he's gay and like open or whatever, I feel like, I mean, stereotypical, right? But like legit, I feel like I legit think that is helpful, right? He manages to communicate, right? And I think like he has improved a lot. I think also he is probably smart, right? But yeah, I don't know. And so yeah, basically, so what I was saying is that imagine they suddenly come back speaking fluent German, right? It wouldn't be like super insane to me, right? If that happened. And I would feel a little bit of like, maybe I should have joined, because I will probably not do anything related to my, maybe I should probably try to improve German actually in my own way or whatever. Because yeah, I could see that happening. Yeah, essentially this tangent was essentially all to answer to that. Do you speak German in your everyday life at the moment? Yeah. Aside from in class, not really. Right? So I think maybe I should try to speak more. And in class, I don't like to speak in class, right? Because I don't know, for some reason, I feel like the teacher, I don't know, like he doesn't understand. Like when I try to, like when I have questions, because the questions are good, right? It's like I don't want to make myself sound like great or whatever, but it's like when I have a question, it's because basically, since I understand things, right? Since I understand what he's explaining, if I have a question, it's not related to something that I didn't understand from what he said, right? Well, sorry, I do have those type of doubts sometimes, right? But when I have those type of doubts, they are cleared quickly. And when I have an actual question, it is not those kind of small doubts. So, when I have a question, it doesn't have an easy answer, right? It doesn't have like a straightforward, easy to find answer most of the time. So I feel like the teacher usually like dismisses those type of questions, right? He focuses on the questions that are, I guess, more basic or whatever, which makes sense, but it's frustrating for me at least. One of our clients lives in Germany for 3 years now, can still not speak any German. Yeah, like one of the classmates, the one who does have the best, like one of the better German understanding skills, but the one who says that like the stupidest questions ever, this guy is like that. He has lived in Germany for like 7 years or some shit like this, right? Or like 8, like before, in like Dusseldorf and in some other places, right? And well, I have lived for 6 months in Germany also, right? So yeah, it's like he speaks, when he speaks actually, he basically speaks in English Germanized, right? You can sense that wherever he's translating from English to German in his mind. But yeah, it works kind of, right? And he is one of the people with the better level, you could say. At least with the best comprehension. Well, the problem is that he doesn't listen, like literally. So yeah, he will zone out. So it's like, yeah, when he understands, he comprehends, but he just doesn't listen. So that's why he has so many stupid questions, right? Because he literally doesn't listen. So his questions are not because he hasn't understood. It's because he just didn't listen to shit that was like pretty obviously and repeated to the end, basically. But yeah, you get what I mean, right? I get what you mean. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. I guess regarding the German level, I will probably try to do actually something on my own. Not sure exactly why. Not sure exactly what, sorry. Probably either stream in German, like I will do like maybe imagine it's in July. It's July. These guys are going to German class. Maybe I'm like, fuck it, let's do German stream, right? And in those days at the same hour, literally the same amount of hours, I do German stream. And if you are here, sure, perfect. If you're not here, I still do it alone, like I've done always, and maybe I make ChatGPT join or whatever the fuck. If you want to join voice, I let you, and if you don't want to, it's no problem. And basically, I try to practice something like that. And yeah, that was the thing, right? In my mind, I was like, why the fuck would I join this shit if I could do it myself alone and it would be better, right? I could do more of what I need, which is probably actually like, I don't know, I guess speaking or whatever, or like I'm trying to understand shit, or like in that amount of time I watch a movie. Right? It's like if in that amount of time I watch a movie in German, it's probably better. So yeah, maybe something like this, right? I'll have to check the times, but if I have time, I'll be there. Lol. Yeah, or maybe it doesn't even have to be there, right? It could be like instead of doing only only Sunday or Fire Tag, I do that and I do other day. Right? But yeah, I will probably have to do something like this, and yeah, regarding the questions, maybe just ask more questions in class or something, right? Try to get at least a little bit more practice in German class or whatever. Try to get a little bit more comfortable with, I don't know, maybe just that, get comfortable with, I guess, with this comfortable with the uncomfortableness. Well, not comfortable, like used to discomfort. Try to get used to discomfort. For example, if I get kind of uneasy because the teacher doesn't really want to kind of dismiss the questions, like it's okay. Oh, it's okay, right? Okay, the question got dismissed. That doesn't mean I can't ask any more questions. Right? Let's ask whatever questions I want, and just try to get my question understood, right? And if the teacher understands my question and I don't get the feeling that he hasn't understood what I want to ask, that's good, right? That's a win, even if it doesn't get answered or if he whatever. Or even if he focuses on some other more, I guess, prescient questions or whatever. If it was understood, that's good. Something like that. Okay, next thought. If it's Tuesday or Thursday, I could be here at around 4:30 usually. The other days I'm more random, sometimes early, sometimes 9. Their course is starting in July, right? So at the moment, I'm not like in a rush. If I want to match their pace, like quote unquote match the quote unquote pace, I'm not in a rush. But yeah, it's good to know. Tuesday, Thursday, 4:30. I'm going to write it down just in case. Let's see. Dienstag und Donnerstag, right? Die 16, 30, 30, right? 30. I forgot. Well, probably a bit later. I finish 15. I'm putting 16, 13 parentheses. I'm putting like 17. 17:00. No, I always do this instinctively. I check the notifications and then click the normal thing. Okay, noted. Thank you for sharing the times. That's interesting. I will take that into account. And now moving into non-language related topics. Well, actually, maybe it could be language related topics if I want. I saw this tweet. Well, let's read the thread first. This guy has so many rich and interesting people follow me, presumably for my Galaxy Brain takes, yet none of them has offered to Patreon me. Is EMH fake? I don't know. I don't get exactly this thing, but yeah, funny tweet, right? Do you have a page where you ask for funding and a way to give you money? Subscribing on Substack, I guess. You think it's a friction issue, blah, blah, blah. And then Visa says, offering to Patreon someone is actually a fraud task. You don't know if they'll take it in the right spirit. Even responding to a nobody has offered to Patreon me tweet is messy. I have a funny story about a microfractal of this problem on my Patreon. When I first set it up, I pumped a bunch of tiers, 10, 20, 50, then if I recall correctly, I had a $250 a month tier, and I captioned it something like, so much money, wow, you must be crazy. And someone DM'd me to say, he actually wanted to give me that much, but wasn't sure if I wanted it. After that, I changed tack and frame it positively. Something like, this is very generous of you. You're making a huge difference. And since then, I've had several people in that tier. that one guy choosing to risk DMing me about it got me like $20,000 total, probably. The valuable question to ask, and this might end up being worth 1 million to you over the long run, is how can I make people feel good about giving me money? Much to ponder. Thank you. So I was like, this is a good sentence, right? Even if it's not worth to me 1 million. I don't know. I like to believe that it is probably being worth $1 million for me, even over the long run, especially considering like dollar values and inflation, right? It's like $1 million over the long run is actually, first of all, not really that much money, and like spread out over the long run. It's probably like just a salary, right? So, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of, maybe it's optimistic to say the question, but it's actually not that optimistic, right? It's probably more like, yeah, it's optimistic in one sense, but also like, yeah, kind of pretty basic in one sense, right? It's like pretty, it's like not that super ambitious, right? It's not like, whoa, screaming some crazy goal, right? It's not like saying it's worth $1 billion, right? That would be kind of exaggerating, right? But saying 1 million, it's like, actually, yeah, it's probably like, if you take a couple of numbers and multiply a little bit, it's like, okay, yeah, that is, it's like it being worth 1 million is like probably around what you would expect, like a worthwhile question to ponder, but also not a question that is like super difficult, right? For example, if someone is like, okay, should I study philosophy or computer engineering, right? That is probably like $1 million question, literally, right? It's like saying it's $1 million question is not even an exaggeration, right? It's literally like probably the difference between the expected money you can make over a lifetime. So I was like, fuck it, let's ask the question. How can I make people feel good about giving me money, right? In this case, it's about giving me money. And being helpfully, but not answering the spirit of the question, which is me, make people feel good about giving you money. First, you must ask yourself, what do you feel good about giving money to? The reason why is because I don't necessarily think they are connected that much, right? It's like maybe the whole point of giving money to other people versus receiving money yourself is that the things are different. Otherwise, you would just do the things for each other, right? It's like, if for example, if someone likes my writing and if I like eating good food, but I pay for eating good food because I'm satisfied because of that, right? That doesn't mean that I need to make good food and get paid for making good food, because the reason in the first place why I pay for the good food is because I don't think I'm capable of that, right? It's like, do you get the logic, right? I have been subscribed to Eric on Twitch over 8 years now. From each it's $5 a month, but at this point it's almost $500 for him that I gave. And since he is a big streamer, he has a lot of people who think similar, I guess. Yeah, I guess when I saw the tweet, right, I was thinking of that at the and also they were also talking about Patreon or whatever, right? So it was related. It was like, okay, in that context, how can one make someone feel good for giving them money? Right? What makes you give money to Eric or like Lyric versus others? Is he the only one? I have a friend who is subscribed to like a fuck ton of people. Well, a faction of people, maybe it's like 3, 4 or 5 or something. I actually am subscribed. I actually pay money to like a similar amount of people. Used to pay money to like 5 or something. Then my crypto card ran out. Plus, I kind of stopped watching, and now I think I only pay for 1 Patreon. Well, I was watching him for those 8 years, even before that, so I don't really sub to a lot of people. So currently, he's the only one. Oh, interesting. Began playing World of Warcraft, but switched to DayZ after the game was released. He focused on regular streaming in 2012. His following eventually grew from average to 20 to 40,000 per stream. Damn. 2017 began streaming PUBG. Complained that the game is riddled with bugs. Real. He was taking a burn. As of 2024, he regularly streams. 2022 had a hit and his wife had a child. Interesting. There is one more I would sub to, but they don't stream on Twitch or YouTube, so I can't really. Wait, where do they stream? OnlyFans. Kick. Familiarity, maybe. Picarto.tv. But he is 18. Wait, I was right. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing screen. Tentacle. Okay, it's more like a drawing platform, right? Wait, what? There's music here. Seems like there's a lot of DJs and like drawing. Interesting platform. Didn't know about this. Is there no way to pay money? I saw like a coin icon, but I guess you don't want to sign up for a platform like this, right? Lip from Berlin. Weather. View. They also streamed on Twitch but got banned because it looked a bit not TOS, I guess. Can I sort by most viewed? 45. Creative. IRL. Oh. 24/7 CAD-CAM. Interesting. I was also checking how to give them money to people driving on Pixiv, but apparently most of them do that over Funbox and I can pay in Yen, sadly. I also don't have a credit card. The fuck? Only like one of those Etze-Karte or something like this. I've been in Germany. Oh, you mean credit, right? You only have debit or something. I wanted their exclusive content, but I can't. Sad. What do they draw? Well, not they. You did say he. What the fuck? Well, I pinned it unintentionally, but it is an interesting thing. Picarto.tv. I'm going to write the Picarto thing in my notes. Warum nicht? You never know when it's useful. As I said, it's 18 plus, it's hentai. Streaming platform. I don't know how much you want me to go into detail. Yeah, I don't know how much it's allowed, to be honest. If it's allowed, whatever. I don't mind. I like information, but if it's not allowed, that is when I run into problems. Eferalgan 500 miligramos. I guess as much detail as is relevant to this question, right? Make people feel good about giving you money, right? It's like how it's like what especially is exclusive. Like it's like what is exclusive enough or whatever, right? Not exclusive, right? What is special enough to make you feel good about giving them money, right? You know what I mean? Was ist das Besondere an ihn? I think I formulated the question wrong, but I think that question, I get answers that question like, was ist das Besondere an ihn? I feel like I've read that somewhere. Was ist das Besondere an ihn? I think it's was ist das Besondere. It's that part is really is well formulated, but I think the second and in part. Was ist der Unterschied zwischen zwischen Anschlussstelle und Ausweichanschlussstelle? I like the drawing an im. With an M at the end. That makes sense. watching for quite some time. The quite some time seems to be a common factor, right? So maybe make people feel good about giving you money has to do with remaining a lot of time doing the same thing, right? In that case, maybe I'm on the right track. I don't know, maybe not enough, right? Maybe those people do stream a lot more. So in that case, maybe I'm slacking. But yeah, let's switch tracks a little bit. I watch them almost every day, at least always when they stream. Damn. Oh. How many viewers do they have in the Pixarta platform? In that platform, Picarto.tv. Well, let's link these tweets since I'm on it. Editor, like 10. Okay. I was going to say, okay, that's not that many, but then I realized that is 10 times as one, so that is actually pretty decent. Okay. And I did scroll through the Picarto TV, whatever platform, and not gonna lie, most had 0, so that's infinitely better. I think it's an interesting question, right? Because, for example, the first thing I thought was like great food with friendly service came to mind first. For example, what makes me feel good about giving people money, right? It's like when I eat something that's really good, and the people are super nice. It's like, well, I don't mind paying the bill, and I don't mind giving a little bit of a tip, right? And I feel like, wow, fuck it, today was a great day, right? But I'm not sure if opening the bar is the response to that, right? Maybe it should be something more like getting the spirit of that translated into something that I can do, right? What other things do I feel good about giving money to? I have subscribed to one person in Patreon. Not in Patreon, in like YouTube Premium, right? And he's a car guy. Well, I can show it. Let's see. This guy, he makes these car videos that are like 30, 40, 1 hour long sometimes, right? Which are pretty complete. And he's an engineer, so he has like this engineer point of view. And he goes into these technical details and explains it, and he has a lot of experience driving a lot of different cars. So I like his point of view, and I respect it. And yeah, I'm subscribed and like put like this kind of €4, I think it's every month, towards that since like a couple of years ago. So that's what, 4 times 48, €200 or something like this. Which when I was unemployed was kind of significant. Now it's still significant, but then it was like much more significant. So yeah, it's like what makes me feel good about giving them money, right? I think before there was a certain promise of like this closer community or something, and there is a Telegram channel which I'm in. To be honest, I don't use the Telegram channel a lot, and I don't find it mega valuable, not gonna lie. It's not that different from following him on Twitter, and you don't get like a lot of particular access, at least me, right? I at least don't feel like I get this kind of personal access or anything like this. So in that sense, it's not what I keep supporting. I think I keep supporting just because of ideology, I guess, in a sense, right? It's like I know that it's not the type of content that is the best to make for the algorithm, etc., right? So I feel like a certain sense of duty to support it or whatever. Because he also has he did organize these events in the Telegram channel, and I joined a couple of times, but it wasn't, I don't know, they weren't like mega mind blowing in a sense. They didn't feel like they were like the best organized events. Like they were cool though, and they were like fine. So, well, I was at just one. So the one I went was fine. If I lived in Spain, perhaps I would go to more. I don't know. Perhaps I would, I guess, know more people or something within that. Not sure. Currently, I only have Lyric, who I give money to without really expecting anything in return. All the other things I was looking into was trying to get access to more content for the person, I guess. Yeah. I think a couple of things that I have done have been like that, right? For example, a person had a Q&A or something. I think I do still pay for a Patreon. Let's see. Well, I do give you $10 a month to Hungry Chindler, but I don't know what's happening there, lol. On Patreon, I've supported these 3 people. This was a one-time payment, I think, or I don't know. Maybe not. I think this isn't. I think this isn't even a non-payment thing. This is just one, since it was like one per video essay, right? It was like so little, and I wanted to say thank you, right? So I was just like, fuck it, let's just say thank you. These ones, the payment failed because it's linked to my cryptocurrency card. So yeah, I was like, fuck it. Since I don't even her, for example, I don't watch her anymore. So I don't know. I'm not even in the Discord anymore. So it's like I'm not even sure if I like. It felt, how do you say, hypocritical to support someone who I don't watch that often. If I don't, yeah, for example, if I don't know what she's uploading anymore because I don't watch it, why would I pay money towards it? Right? So I stopped. I did start supporting because she made really interesting essays, video essay type genre or whatever. She had a really interesting perspective, and she has like really interesting takes about these kind of dating scenarios or whatever, right? So it was like, I like what she's saying, right? She has like this perspective of like a femme cell or whatever, right? And I liked how she defended herself and all this. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah, that's worth supporting. And also, I think in both of these cases, they had like some kind of Q&A video or some kind of my process, my behind the scenes or something like this uploaded on their Patreon, and I wanted to see it, and then I remained subscribed, right? I think in both of these, That's why I signed up for. Not gonna lie, I don't watch Lyric that often anymore either, but at this point I want to hold my streak. Yeah, that happens to me with this channel also. I don't watch every single video. Let's see. I do watch it enough to remember, right? For example, I did watch this Volkswagen van from 9 days ago. I did watch the Lancia Ypsilon videos. Dacia Lowcaster, so maybe like once a month, because I have been, I guess, busier, right? For example, maybe they're a little bit more often. I watched a little bit more often before coming to Germany, perhaps, right? Yeah, this one I watched. This one too. I watch him every Sunday because that's Sub Sunday. Subs come both for games of the week, and Sunday he plays them for 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes longer. He has fun. Okay, that's still decent enough. Well, oh. I wonder how it feels from his end, right? Your income depending from how much people like you. That has to be different. Like that, or how much people watch you or something like this, right? Or how much people don't want to cancel their streak or something. It's like whether you can pay rent or not that month. I mean, I guess when people are at that level, it's probably not like that anymore, right? I don't know. Maybe parasocial is a good way to word it, right? For example, the Patreon ones. I have it here. Bro, the new Patreon logo sucks, by the way. In this case, it was just like a thank you note. I wanted to write a thank you note or whatever. In these cases, maybe it was more kind of parasocial, right? It was maybe trying to get more access or something. The feeling behind that, which is not, I guess, super healthy. Maybe it is, right? I don't know. Who gives a fuck, to be honest? I guess the cooking video one was not that parasocial because these videos are about cooking at the end of the day, right? So even though I guess there is an element of parasociality, right? I did go to one of his events because he posted it online or something, right? It's not like I think he's my best friend or anything like this, right? But in the Kidology channel, maybe it is different, right? I didn't literally think that she's my best friend, literally. But there is some kind of connection, right? There is some kind of like, I have written long comments in her channel in response to a long video that she has made, right? So there is a little bit of this parasocial connection, I would say. That does make me, for example, I would say that, better worded, it's not just that her video is really insightful or something like this, right? It's that I connected to the content of her video essays, right? To the things she complained about and to the things she saw or whatever, right? To the things she was writing about or talking about. I guess that is an answer to the question, right? How do you get people to pay you money? To feel good about paying you money. Let's see what else is in this thread. One thing is, I think is very important is that you like what you are doing. Yeah, I agree. I would say that is common in something that I see with all of these people I support. I guess that they do like that I could see myself. I don't know. I'm not sure if I would say that it's that selfish. When I word it that way, it sounds selfish, right? That I see myself in that position, because it's not literally like that, right? It's not literally selfish, right? But in a sense, I would say that maybe there is a bit of selfishness there, right? It's like if I don't see myself, it's something I can aspire to. That is, I guess, what I wanted to say. It's something Vorbild, example, right? Something I see as an example or as something like this, right? It's like if I don't think it's good enough for it to feel like an example, right? Or aspirational, right? It has to be, in a certain sense, aspirational. So yeah, they like what you're doing is a factor, right? If I see someone that doesn't like what they are doing, it's obviously not aspirational, right? But it's also not like the minimal condition, right? It is one thing that is very important indeed, but yeah, one part of it. And I think it's part of this aspirational thing, right? It has to be something exemplary, right? Exemplificatory, exemplar, vorbildlich. I don't know. Exemplary. I'm trying to think of like examples, not of the exemplary, of like the opposite, or like contrast. For example, something that they seem to enjoy what they are doing. Like, are there exemplary things? For example, people who are like, who I guess it's just that in my case, I kind of maybe find it respectful and low-key think something like, that's honorable or something, right? But I wouldn't respect it. For example, like not respect it, but like, that I wouldn't consider it exemplary in a sense, right? If, for example, someone does something very dutiful or whatever, but they themselves don't like it, then I wouldn't consider it something, I guess, super admirable or whatever, right? For example, it's like the classic immigrant parent story or whatever, right? Yes, they came to the country to give you a better life or whatever, and they worked a lot, right? But if they didn't like what they were doing, even though I respect the sacrifice or whatever, I don't consider it, I guess, not necessarily admirable. I think that's the wrong word. I do consider it admirable, right? I do consider it worthy of respect and worthy of admiration, for example, or whatever, right? But I don't consider it and it does have a certain yeah, but for example, it's not something that I would name as like exemplary, right? That I wouldn't want to set as an example. But I think just liking what you are doing is not enough either, right? For example, maybe there could be the case of seeing people liking what they are doing, but not making people feel good enough for about giving them money. Okay, on to other things. What other things do I feel good about giving money? What about you, for example? You like buying manga or something, right? But physical, for example. Do you also buy internet manga or not? For example, I don't feel good at all giving money to subscription services for streaming content. That feels awful, to be honest. Not sure why, but it does feel like that. Money for the cinema. That feels low-key normal, right? That does feel normal. I'm not sure if it feels great. Maybe the movie is great. It does feel great. Buying clothes when the clothes are good does feel great. When the clothes are bad, it doesn't feel great. I guess buying something that is quality makes someone feel good about giving money, right? Pretty obvious, to be honest, but. And I'm not sure if I needed 1 hour and 10 minutes of stream or whatever to realize that, but. No, I don't pay for manga online. I guess I do pay $5 a month to get ad-free anime and manga since I see this for ages, but I wouldn't have to. Okay. That kinda counts. I guess it does come down to value or something like this, right? If it doesn't feel like they are overcharging you or something, if it feels sustainable, if it feels quality, then it feels good, right? If you buy something that's awesome, but it's expensive and doesn't feel kind of maintainable or whatever, right? For example, I don't feel super great eating out if it's too expensive, even though I said that I do feel great eating out. But just because I know it's like exceptional, right? If it's framed as exceptional, then I don't mind spending a lot of money. A lot, say 50 or whatever, right? 50 euros or like 50, 60 euros. If I know it's exception, if I'm going to do this like once a year or twice a year. But if I'm spending at the restaurant 27 euros casually with it, and it's something I'm going to do every week or like I could do every week, right? Then it low-key doesn't feel great. Or groceries. If I spend a lot of in groceries, I'm like, damn. Renting things in general, I'm not sure how good it feels. I'm thinking, for example, does renting a car feel good or bad? I think it always feels too expensive, right? I don't know, I guess thinking about money is difficult. For example, is it better to rent or buy a car? Renting feels really expensive. Buying removes a lot of money from you at the moment. So maybe if you have a lot of money, conversely, right, it feels great to rent a car because you're like, whoa, I use the car and I still have a lot of money left over, right, without needing to have bought a car. Versus when you don't have a lot of money and you rent a car, you feel like, oh, that was kind of stupid, right? That was like too much money spent in something that goes away so fleetingly. I don't like to rent anything. I always feel like it's wasted since I don't have anything to afterwards. But technically, if I rent a movie and buy it and watch it once, but technically, if I rent a movie or buy it and watch it once, it would definitely be better to rent. Yeah. I'm thinking about that in the car sense, right? If I'm not going to drive a car every day or whatever, and I'm just going to use it every once in a while because I want to drive, then maybe it is worth it to just rent. Also, since I do smoke here and there, it's technically the same since I don't have anything in the end. But I feel like at least I had a good time, lol. Oh. Beer in Germany, low-key expensive. It's like in the supermarket, it's so cheap, but when you're somewhere, it's kind of expensive. €4 for a beer, €4.50, €5.10. Dumb. I don't know. In general, I'm not sure if I ever feel great about giving anything, money to anything. I guess literally these kind of online things are probably the best feeling. Giving money carelessly doesn't really feel good. For example, in the supermarket or whatever, right? It happens, but it doesn't feel good. Does it feel bad? Kind of. Let me, explore. Let's do some expense exploration. I'm not going to show it on screen. I guess I'm just going to read it. C24. Burger Bar, 23 euros. Reve, 13 euros. BMW Museum, 14 euros. Reve, 17 euros. Reve, 6 euros. Reve, 1 euro. Typhoon Kalmats, Doner, 11 euro. Edeka, 2 euros. Reve, 1 euro. Edeka, 3 euros. Reve, 5 euros. Reve, 2 euros. Reve, 3 euros. Edeka, 1 euro. Edeka, 2 euros. Edeka, 3 euros. Aldi, 1 euro 60. Reve, 4 euros. Reve, 2. Woolworth, 3.5. Aldi Sud, 25. Wow. DM, 2. Les Diesel Manti. These were the Manti that I show. 13 euros. NYA Herring Sunny Concept. This was the worst bathroom ever. Rebe, 66. Deutsche Bahn, 55. This was like the Deutschland ticket. El Sorretti Café Goes. This was a cafe. Let's categorize it. Restaurant, cafe, bar. Restaurant, cafe, bar. Weiter. Dirk Rossmann, 7.8. Aldi Süd, 30. Rewe, 3. Lidl, 6. Edeka, 4. Kaufland, 7. Edeka, 4. Bekleidung, New Yorker, 23. C und A, 63. Holy shit. And the day before, C und A, 39. Jesus Christ. L'Occitan, 20 euros. Butlers, 20 euros. Rewe, 8. Sporthaus 17 Rubel. Okay, that was Intersport, 20 euros. Osteria de Massimo, 29 euros. Restaurant, cafe, bar. Edeka, DM, 39. And that is some clothing. I bought some shorts at DM or whatever because I didn't have a pajama. Lufthansa, 300. Okay. I have this for gemerkt and they don't have... they charged me twice for some reason. And I always forget to talk to either the bank. The bank didn't tell me anything. But it doesn't get unvorgemerkt or whatever. It doesn't, no one gives it back to me. Sum up. Freunde de... What's this? Miele Operation. Wohnen und Haushalt. Wait. This month I didn't give anything. Let's see. Analyse. Let's analyze my expenses. I'm not sure if you can see it. 900 euros Reisen und Urlaub. This is wrong because it's counting that I spent 300 and other 300 when I just spent one time 300 because they charged me twice for some reason one, and they charged me one, and then they gave it to me back correctly. They gave it to me back correctly. Shopping. 200 in clothes, 170 in sport shop, which is clothes, 85 in drogerie, which low-key is clothes. Well, not all, but let's see. Yeah, which is like soap and that kind of shit. Soap, Müller, DM, Rossmann. I guess it is random shit, so that's count as shopping. Kaufhaus. Yeah, that does count as shopping, random shit for the house. Lebensmittel 380 in supermarkets, 380 euros in supermarkets for one person. That's crazy. 200 in restaurant, cafe, bar. Restliche Kategorien, Mobilität, Wohnen, Haushalt, Freizeit. I don't know, this app is strange. I don't get it. This spend analysis is interesting. I don't like spending that much, so I don't know. Do you believe in this? How do you say? Mindset or whatever of like, no, if you give money freely, money will come back to you freely or whatever. Not gonna lie, I don't really believe in that. I guess I believe in it in some senses, but in some other senses I don't, right? I never heard that. No, you haven't heard this kind of, if you manifest money or whatever, money will come in back to you or something. It's like you have to get rid of limit mentality. Like, that kind of thing. I can't really say it's not true because I feel like no matter what I do, it always works out one way or another. But either way, I don't really bother with thinking stuff like that, lol. I try to live my life carefree however I like. Interesting. I guess living carefree, in a sense, is believing that, right? Because if you live carefree, it's like, okay, no matter what, I won't care, right? Anyways, I don't have a conclusion for this. Make people feel good about giving you money. But it was an interesting reflection. Maybe I will write today about this. I will go out now. I will take a drink or take a glass of water or something. Get my diary out, sit down, write something in the terrace. And try to see if I think of anything. But maybe not. Maybe I will simply just go drink a water or whatever and write something else. Who knows? But yeah, thank you for watching. And this week I have simulator day 10th. The 11th I don't have anything to do, so I'm not sure what I will do the 11th. But yeah, I don't know, maybe the next stream is probably going to be still Sunday. Unless for some reason I decide that on Wednesday or whatever I want to stream again. But yeah, you said something like that you are free on Tuesday and Thursday, right? So Wednesday, not really. So maybe I'll do some other things. For Wednesday, I don't know. I was thinking of going to the driving school and asking, or going to the laser place and asking. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of friction for some reason. Maybe I'll write about that instead. I don't know. But yeah, anyways. No conclusions for this stream, but it was interesting to think about stuff, as always. And yeah, goodbye. Have a nice week. And it's a shorter week, so yes, let's go. Bye. No. Forget that. I don't want to get into this kind of mentality of like, whoa, weekend, let's go. No. It's like, we take the weeks as they come, right? It's a week that is shorter, which has its advantages and also has its disadvantages. So yeah, shorter week incoming. There are interesting things coming in the days where I have class. Like for example, in the simulator day is going to be new. Let's see how it goes. Then the days of correcting homework are more normal, but also they're going to be interesting. There are Bauarbeiten in the Stammstrecke, which is a pain in the ass. but I think I will figure out how to go, and perhaps I discover some new route that I hadn't thought of or whatever, and it breaks up a little bit the ways of going to class. So that is going to be interesting. And yeah, goodbye. Hope you have a good week, and hope not only the weekend is good, but also the week itself is good. Same to you. Thanks.